Morning, guys. It is Monday, the 23rd, and I am here to post your lesson number two. So I hope you guys had a really good weekend. We were able to finally kind of get out of the house and go on some hikes. We live up here in Auburn, if you didn't know that. And so we found a couple of trails that didn't have a lot of people on it, and we were able to get out and enjoy some sunshine. The fresh air definitely helped my mental state, feeling a little bit of cabin fever. So getting out was really great. The other thing that I did, and I don't know if you guys have been doing this or not, but we did a Zoom meeting. So it's similar to like a Google Meet or like a FaceTime Hangout or whatever it's called. But yeah, I did two on Sunday, which was really nice. And one was actually with people who don't live local. So my friend that lives in, my high school friends actually, that live, one is up in Colorado now, one is in Texas, and then one lives in Santa Cruz. And so we were able to do a little bit of a check-in, and it was nice to see their faces because I don't usually get to see them. And so that was really nice to kind of check in with everybody and see how everyone was dealing, and just figure out what we're all doing. We're all moms, so it was nice to kind of talk about homeschooling together and our kids driving us nuts and all of that stuff. So that was really nice. And then I did another one. I'm like a Zoom professional these days with my local friends who I do usually get to see, and I've been missing seeing them and seeing their kids and meeting up with them. So I recommend it. It was super easy and fun, and we got to kind of check in on everybody. I also did a couple check-ins on friends that I know from college or high school that are in the medical world, um, and just kind of was checking in with them and making sure that they're staying safe because I know that they're still having to go into work, and just letting them know that I'm thinking about them because as scary as this all is, I can't even imagine having to go into a hospital or um, be kind of on the front line. So just wanted to reach out to them, talk to my parents a little bit. Honestly, that's probably the hardest part so far of quarantining is I haven't seen my parents in almost 3 weeks. So we went to Mexico um, that first weekend of March before things got kind of crazy. And so I saw them before that. But once we got back, we worked. And then that Friday was the Friday that they told us we weren't coming back to school. And so from then, we've been FaceTiming and talking and texting, but I haven't seen them in person. So that was really hard. So I'm hoping that we can, you know, maybe go see them and just sit out on their driveway or something and chat. But anyways, I hope that you guys are finding new ways to connect and new ways to kind of keep your spirits high. We're going to do our first Google Meet on Tuesday. So hopefully a lot of you guys will join me for that. It's going to be from 1 to 2. The link is right there. And you guys can just pop on and say hi. I just want to see your faces and kind of chat. You guys can ask questions, talk to each other, talk to me. No real instruction, but we're just hanging out. So we are ready for lesson two. Hopefully you guys were able to get through lesson one. I was really surprised and pleasantly surprised at how many people are participating in the lesson. It was an interesting article, and I hope you guys liked it too. I liked going through and reading your reflection paragraph, and I'm working on answering and making comments back to you guys about specifically that reflection paragraph. So thank you for those of you who turned it in. Dee Marie added this slide because she does Calvin and Hobbes, which is like a comic thing. And so she's been doing that on the alternate days that she's not posting a lesson. So I've just kind of been posting on my Instagram, but if you guys want more of me, I can post some videos here too for a little check-in on alternate days. But that brings us to lesson two. So lesson two, I'll upload this video right here when it's done. I'm uploading everything to YouTube to make it easier. So hopefully you guys are able to access the videos if nothing else. And then here is the link to the HyperDoc for lesson two. It brings us to our distance learning folder. Lesson one is right there. And then here's lesson two. So the deal with the HyperDoc is that it was supposed to be easier because it basically forces your Google Drive to make a copy for you. So that way you don't have to worry about like editing the original or making a copy and then sharing it back to me. Once you click on this HyperDoc, it should open it up and make a copy, put your name on it, and then you fill it out and hit submit. If things aren't working, make sure you're logged onto your Rockland USD email. Don't download it. Just try and click on the HyperDoc and work in the Schoology interface. And then the last workaround that for some reason worked for one of my sophomores and seems to be working is that if you open it on your phone first, so just pull it up on your phone, open it on your phone, then it will save into your Google Docs, and then you can go onto your computer and it should show up in your Google Docs under like recents or whatever, and then you can work on it and submit it there. And when she submitted it, it did go into the Schoology gradebook. That's kind of the idea here, is that we're trying to get it into the Schoology gradebook so that I can look at it, mark that it's complete, comment, and do that. But if all else fails and it's really just being difficult, it's not that deep, just send me an email and I will send you the link straight to the original Google Doc. And then that way you can go file, make a copy, and then just share it back to me. And then I will just manually enter it. So I've had a couple people resort to that too. So that is fine. Okay, so for lesson number two, this is our last lesson. We're doing 1 and 2 about the coronavirus, and then we will go back to the heart when I post on Wednesday. But for lesson number 2, this is a YouTube video. It's Aesop Science from YouTube, and I made it into an ed puzzle. I don't know if you guys have used those before, but it's basically the YouTube video, and then I paused it at certain spots and asked questions. So as you're watching the video, it'll kind of freeze, and don't think you did anything wrong. There'll be a set of multiple choice questions. You answer the question, and then I think you hit continue, and then it'll keep playing. So there's just some questions embedded within the video to kind of spark it's a lot of review actually. I was oddly excited when I found this video because it goes over what is happening if you get coronavirus. So it goes back to a lot of the stuff that we've been learning about, and talks about what happens to your body, inside your body, if you get coronavirus. So click on that video and then complete the questions within the video. And then for the explain section, once you watch the video, you'll see that one thing that happens is that the virus takes over the ribosome and starts making its own RNA and its own proteins to try and multiply the virus. And so we're doing a throwback review for genetic code. So you should have this in your notebook, but we linked it if you need it. But this was the activity that we did on the lab stations. Remember, we did it forwards once, and then we did it backwards. You guys made up your own. When we did it forwards, it was like, Emily likes to shop, or I like this class, or whatever it was. And then you guys got to make up your own word or short phrase, and then your classmates decoded it. And so this is our universal codon chart. And this is the one that we hand wrote the letters next to it. So for lesson 2, you are going to work backwards and start with the letters, and we're using virus. And then you're going to find me the amino acid, and then the mRNA codons, and then what would have been the template DNA. So let me give you, I made a little example so we can go through it together. Is it going to load there? So for example, if I was starting with home, H-O-M-E, so I would look at my codon and I would find the letter H. You can really use, there's a couple of H's, but I'm just going to use the very first one. So the very first H that I see is right here. PRO is my amino acid. So I would go right here and I would say PRO dash, then I would find O. So O, let's find our first O. There's our first O. So LEU would be that amino acid. So I would write, oops, LUE, LUE, LEU, LEU. Okay, and then so on and so forth for M and E. And then going one step back, I go back to that amino acid that represented for LE, nope, which one am I doing first? PRO. So for PRO for H, so if I'm looking for this box, remember I'm doing first position, second position, third position. So if I go over, my first codon is going to be C, my second is going to be C, and my third is going to be over here, U. So C, C, U. So for my mRNA, it'd be C, C, U. And let's try it with O. So for O, I used this one right here. So first position U, second position U, third position A. So U, U, A, U, U, A. And then you would do M and E. Well, no, you would do your virus. And then working backwards, we would find the template DNA. So if it's a C, it's going to pair with a G, a G, and then a U. Remember, mRNA has U instead, has uracil instead of thymine. So instead of what pairs with a U in DNA would be a A. And then what pairs with a U would be an A, and then what pairs with an A would be, we do have thymine here, it'd be a T. Yes, is that coming back to you? So that's what you're going to do on lesson 2, right here in this box, using the word virus. If you would rather just do it in your notebook or on a piece of paper, you could do that and take a picture of it and insert the picture if that's easier for you. And then we are going to look at one other thing that they talk about in the video is that if you are infected with the virus has antigens on its surface. So just like when we talked about blood typing and we said that the antigen is the name tag, telling, kind of like identifying the red blood cell, it's also the identifier for the virus or the bacteria or whatever it is. They all have these little antigens coming off of the surface of the virus or the cell or whatever it is. And so when you guys think about it, if you remember, we had this in our notebooks, but we cut out these pictures and we said, okay, if they are blood type A, then they have these A antigens on their surface. Okay, if they're blood type B, they have these B antigens on their surface. But we always make the antibodies, remember antibodies is stranger danger. So because in this example, the A has circles, you wouldn't make an antibody with circles on it because then the antibody would connect to your antigen and then you would agglutinate, and that's not what we want. So we have to make the antibodies against the foreign substance, the stranger danger. So for this one, if you're blood type A, you would have A antigens and make B antibodies. So you can see that these antibodies have those little triangles that would match up if you were transfused with blood type B, right? Because we don't want to be transfused with the wrong blood. So same kind of idea talking about COVID-19 and that virus. So again, you can, if you want to do a Google or whatever it is, what's it called? Like a drawing. Oh, right here. If you want to do a drawing, you can just do a drawing, or you can take a picture, draw it in your notebook and take a picture. And then finally, another reflection. This YouTube video was published on January 29th. So just doing a little bit of research of what has changed. Obviously, things are changing so quickly on a daily basis, even. So just a little reflection on what has changed since January 29th. And that's it. And then you should be able to submit it and go from there. So I will keep checking my email. I'll check the, you guys have been using the distance learning discussion board. So keep doing that and I'll keep an eye on that. And then otherwise, I will hopefully see you guys on Tuesday for our first Google Meet. All right. Take care. Miss you guys. Bye.